Ladies and gentlemen, let's gaming Totocom video. We're going to be doing a frame rate test for Wolfenstein: The New Order on the PlayStation 4. Now there's no frame per second graph on this simply because it was just pointless to add it, simply because the frame rate is so generally high throughout the video. Pretty much 60. Now it did tank fairly early on, and that's the only reason I've kept the average in there, just to show you how much that did actually hurt the average frame rate through the whole video. So the game pretty much holds 60 apart from, as I said, the very early area. Now I'm unsure the exact cause for it, and I've noticed it happens a couple of times in that area. I did do a few run-throughs on that specific part, although this was certainly the worst instance that I managed to capture. I did do some other testing with grenades and so on in either close combat, close areas, or whatever, and I couldn't find the frame rate tanking that bad. Now there have been a couple of instances where the game definitely lags behind, and I'll be doing more of those when I'm doing comparison tests versus the PC in the next few days. And what I've noticed is that when you're firing, sometimes you'll see, like for example, the muzzle flare before even a shell casing or before even the finger twitches, which is a little bit weird. So sometimes lighting effects are a little bit dicey on the game, and sometimes sound effects will play before, for example, the bullet shoots, which is also once again a little bit of an oddity. They don't seem to affect the frame rate so much. It's almost like it just hasn't quite rendered all of it. I'm going to be doing more tests on this over the next few days, but suffice to say you can definitely tell. Now I would also like to do more testing on the PC version, which I will be doing, to see if this problem is prolific on the PC version as well. Overall, however, the title does feel pretty damn nice. I don't really notice that much input lag, perhaps a little tiny smidgen at times, particularly when, as I mentioned, the frame rate did dive there near the very start. It went to probably just around the 20 frames per second mark for just a moment, just for a second, and then it quickly started to go back up, although there was a lot of chaos going on overall. I'm going to give a quick brief analysis of my overall opinions on the visuals for the game. I actually quite like them. I find the PS4 does do a pretty good job emulating the PC. It's obviously not quite up there. There are specifically in the background lower quality textures. I have noticed occasionally the odd texture streaming issue. For example, when you walk into a new area, it's very noticeable, and sorry, it's very unnoticeable. You just kind of notice it in our corner of the eye how sometimes just for a second an object will just pop into a slightly higher level of detail compared to what you'd expect. But overall, it's certainly nothing to complain about, and to be honest, the fact that they're actually managing to run the title on the PS4, so 1080p actually on the PS4 and the Xbox One from what I can tell. So overall, I'm very impressed with the game. Technically, it works extremely well. There is a few errant frames here and there. To be honest, it could just be my equipment being a bit oversensitive in particular firefights. I did try my best to pretty much iron them all out, but from what I can tell, they've managed to pretty much hit the nail on the head and be 60 locked all the way through, which is pretty impressive considering the visuals of the game. As I mentioned, there are the odd little glitch here and there with the odd frame going down. I've played a fair amount into the game. I tried to remove, I didn't put in cutscenes. I tried to keep as much actiony as possible so that it's more what you'd expect while you're actually playing the game. To be honest, cutscenes aren't really going to be the big deal here anyway. So if you're worried about the game being not too great of a performer, or their claims not being true, then, well, it doesn't seem that this is the case. It seems that the game runs and plays absolutely beautifully, and I'd highly recommend that you guys check it out. You can check out my first impressions as well on the channel. It's about 30 minutes. There's also some PC gameplay there as well, if you'd prefer to look at that rather than console. Over the next few days, I will be doing PC versus console, as well as different settings on the PC, so you can get an idea of how that runs on your particular machine. Anyway, hopefully you've enjoyed the video. I'll see you soon. If obviously comment or whatever, and take care and bye for now.